This is really funny, but this isn't quite the thing I feel like the Blox Fruits devs should be quite paying attention to. There are a collective of things in this game that make this game kind of hellish to play for new people, and for people who've been here for a while. The first thing I want to bring attention to is there is no real counter to transformation at all. Well, there is, but there isn't. Let me be frank. There are certain fruits that can counter, like Dragon's transformation, but the C move just obliterates the entire island and anyone on it. That dude is nearly dead. I don't mean to, like, screw with level 500 to prove a point, but my internet is laggy and he's trying to get away, anyway. But yeah, this thing is a problem. Yeah, that doesn't really reflect well on me, but I feel like there's a solution to a problem even for a lower level player to have a better chance at fighting a transformation through. And for that, so this is how I believe Haki should be approached in Blox Fruits. A stun tool that can disable transformations, or it can decrease defense if your opponent doesn't have a transformation. I don't think that a pure stun tool would be great for Blox Fruits just because of the type of game that it is. Quick combos can end fights very quick, but to be able to disable somebody else's transformation, when some transformations actually require meter, could be extraordinarily useful, especially if this ability's size and strength scales to your bounty, which actually gives you a purpose to getting more bounty in Blox Fruits. One solution to the dragon and transformation problem. Now let's move on to another big problem. Another incredibly pressing issue with how this game works is how it tackles leveling. Okay, I have had quite a bit of an experience leveling in this game, and I can tell you a few things if you're new or if you're old, so you better listen up. First of all, it takes you about half a day, a little less than half a day, 8 hours to reach the second C with double EXP almost the entire time and knowing what you're doing. I feel like that's a problem. In an RPG that's supposed to be more of a fighter than a grinder, I feel like you should want to be grinding for less and fighting with your friends for more time. So the fix to this would be, if they're not going to change the quests themselves to actually make them interesting, how about naturally aspirating the EXP amounts to be double what they are now, naturally, and let the 2 times EXP apply to the 2 times already put on, making leveling really fast if you actually choose to use the double leveling, and it makes the double leveling far more of a worth it purchase. Not only that, it gives the people who are free to play a lot easier of a time grinding up to see if the game's actually any fun to play, instead of spending 24 hours, 48 hours just getting to be able to fight their friends. That isn't any fun. That is another one of this game's greatest sins. Leveling is extremely slow and monotonous. That needs to be fixed. On to the final issue that could be fixed. Finally, I believe the gacha system is outdated and could be redone a little bit better. Instead of being able to buy a fruit once for a set amount of belly every 2 hours, double the amount of belly you're asking for each purchase and remove the time limit entirely. Or you can triple the amount, but don't go 4 times, that's a little too much. I feel like instead of limiting the game to coming back every 2 hours after you already have a bunch of belly, you should feel rewarded for grinding for the amount of belly to roll each time to get what you want. So instead of, if you want to like grind up for a specific fruit, you are more incentivized to put more time into the game. If, per se, you wanted to buy one, yeah, you could still do that, but there is way more of an incentive to grind. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, there's a 4th issue we need to talk about. Final issue for more long-time players, I feel, is how enchantments are tackled. I want to talk a bit about how the Leviathan requires 5 people right now to still summon, which I think is a bit of a problem, considering it only takes, maybe 2 people to kill it if you guys are good enough to kill it. Like, you don't just get slammed to the floor or into the water depending on what you're using. But I digress. I feel like making the Leviathan more accessible, levels more easily obtainable, and the game just more easily accessible to the larger player base would make everyone happy. So if you like the ideas that I'm spitting, like the video, leave your own ideas, and I'll be responding to your guys' comments because I actually do care for the state of this game, regardless of if I don't make too many videos on it. Anyhow, that'll be it. Bye-bye. Subscribble.